Welcome back. It's now 4 minutes past 7 a.m. Welcome back to the program. It's a beautiful Monday, the first Monday of the month of November 2025. We are slowly coming to the end of the year. So far, so good. All right, so let's get into it and talk about politics and current affairs, what's happening in the country, and of course across our borders, because that's what matters as well. I have Peter Mutua-Mutuku, who is governance and leadership expert. He's also the gentleman responsible for service delivery in this beautiful county of Nairobi City. Good morning.
Good morning to you and viewers, and get my name right, is Peter Mutuku-Mutua, not the other way.
All right.
The Peter Mutua-Mutuku is a foreigner.
Thank you.
Yeah, please, get it right.
I have Honorable Peter Orero, who is the lawmaker representing the great constituency of Kibra, also in this great county of Nairobi. Mheshimiwa, good to see you as well. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Yes, it's been quite some time before being on set.
Yeah, you know what has been going on in the country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll get to talk about that shortly. But how about we go through the front page of the local dailies? Let me start with you, Peter. What do you have? I have two Peters here. So today I'll have to separate. Mwalimu,
yes.
Peter. That will be okay. All right. So let me start with you, Peter. What's on the front page of the Star newspaper? Just hold it up to the camera. Read it out for us.
TZ, meaning Tanzania, and arrest cuts food supplies to Kenya and disrupts trade.
Endelea. What are the other headlines on the front page? Continue.
ODM plays hardball, complicates President Ruto's 2027 game plan.
Okay.
And down there, you can see the president on extensive development tour of Western region. That's what we have on Star newspaper.
Very good. So what do you make of the front page? Of course, you know, they held the elections last week, and a lot has been talked about. But based on what you've seen on the front page of the Star newspaper, go ahead.
Well, it tells you that, look at this Tanzania, fruits and vegetable stocks run out over insecurity.
Yes.
First of all, that is a wake-up call that as Kenyans, we move from comfort zone of not tilling our lands and doing proper agriculture, because the climate that is in Tanzania, the soils and so forth, are just as the ones we have in this country.
Yeah.
First of all, this is one, the disruption causes us to think and go back to the drawing board. That if there is something that is happening in Tanzania, we are likely to suffer food shortages, as we are said here, and also it also tells us to awake to fact that things are changing, that the world has become a global village, that something happening in Nepal can happen in Tanzania. So we need where we were comfortable. We need to go back to the drawing board and rethink our policies, our politics, and so forth. Thank you.
All right, but what about the elections? 31 million people out of 32 million people voting? Well, just a close, almost 700,000 people did not vote. What do you make of that election process altogether?
They said it was 31 million.
Yeah.
Versus 37, not 32. 37 million. Well, it was announced and they declared so. So from where I sit, I'll have a little to discuss about it. What concerns me most is that there is no peace in Tanzania. There is a problem in Tanzania. I met with another gentleman yesterday and told me things in Tanzania are hard. We tried calling people in Tanzania. We could not get through because people need to know. Tanzania and Kenya is like if I live, for example, in Kibra, it's probably that I have a relative in Langata or I have a relative in Starehe. So somehow we have relatives and friends in Tanzania. And when it reached a point that we could not get, to communicate with them, the anxieties were too much. And as the question you're asking about that 1 million and then registered voters at that 7, some of these things are hard to explain, because I do not know where on earth, because that 1 out of that 7 is almost 90%. And we are seeing, unless the media were lying to us, that the voter turnout was very low, People didn't even want to vote because they believed that the leading opposition leaders were denied their chance to vote. So these ones, we leave it to the Tanzanians. If they are comfortable with it, let them live with what they have chosen. Because it will be very difficult for me to think for them, decide for them, and even advise them and start wailing here or crying here and saying it wasn't fair if they feel it is fair. Yeah.
Mwalimu, it's only a person who doesn't care who will go to bed while his neighbor's house is on fire. You will have to be a little bit concerned and have some bucket of water to help put out the fire.
You know, I was going through some media comments yesterday. One caught my eye that can you imagine Tanzania have counted the votes in 48 hours na wanatumia Kiswahili moja mbili. Na unajua the way they talk slowly, tatu ine. For 48 hours they have counted 31 million votes. And you know, Kenya, we have, compared to our neighboring countries, our level of the digital platform, the ICT, is not comparable. So I think those results also leaves a lot to be desired, in my own opinion. And given the fact that during the campaigns, some of the most prominent opposition leaders, some were jailed, some were arrested, people complained, but nobody lent a listening ear. And this is basically reflected after, immediately just before the casting of the votes. And people dissented. And many people, you could see the ballot papers were burned even before the election. It is not after the election. So you can imagine that people were not even prepared to vote for the system. And going by the reviews that we have seen to our neighbors, in my constituency, I can tell you that those who are selling clothes in Toy Market and even along the Karanja Road, most of them are Tanzanians. We are very accommodative as Kenyans. And we take them as our neighbors. But I think this term, towards the end of the leadership of Suluhu, she has become an authoritative, bureaucratic, and autocratic leader. That means that she is almost being a dictator in a region where the leadership has always been very, very democratic and agreeable. I would not hesitate to comment on our neighbors' kind of leadership styles, because as we talk to Kenyans in our neighboring country, most Kenyans who have been working very well over 15 years in Tanzania have lost their job. She has also brought certain policies that deny Kenyans to carry out certain basic jobs in their country. Yet here in Kenya, we are very, very accommodative. We have accommodated our neighbors. And as things stand now, if things are not corrected, then we are going to have a legacy problem in our neighboring country.
I think this one goes back to you as a legislature, when you resume from recess, to have some of these questions on the floor of the House, because we do not have any problem with any foreigner unless you go against the law of the land. But you've, as correctly you've put it, you are accommodating Tanzanians in your constituency.
And not just that.
Yes.
For us who interact with the lower cadre, those selling sweets in this town, those who have kinyozi, and many other aspects of life in town here are foreigners. You will find Burundi there, you will have Tanzanians there, you will have Rwandese there. Those who are selling tea, you know, people move selling tea, are not Kenyans. It means that Kenya, as a country, we are the most accommodative country, not just in this region, but almost everywhere else. Go to our neighboring Tanzania, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi. You will rarely find any Kenyan in those lower cadre jobs. This is not reflected in some of our neighboring countries.
Yeah.
I have been to Tanzania many times. I've been to Uganda, Rwanda many times. But the life in Tanzania has drastically changed since the current head of state in Tanzania took over.
Okay.
She's trying, of course, most of these countries try to compete Kenya, but we are a bigger economy. People must understand, even the kind of democratic space that we have created in this country is not comparable to any other country neighboring us.
We have discussed this front page of the Standard newspaper. Let me come back to the front page of the Standard. The Tanzania massacre is almost the same thing that we are discussing, Tanzania massacre. And the lady in the middle is the president. That is President Samia Suluhu. And most of the photos are in black and white for all the obvious reasons. And the Standard says that if Mwalimu Julius Nyerere were to return to the nation he built on the ideals of African unity, he would be horrified. As Tanzania's first female president fought to secure her own mandate, blood flowed across the land. Cut off from the world during and after polling, Tanzania's endured what rights groups now describe as a bloodbath that was hidden behind an official blackout but laid bare through protest shared with their Kenyan counterparts. That is on the front page of the Standard newspaper. It's in black and white. That is what I have here. More or less the same thing that we are discussing on the front page of the Star. Very quickly, on the EDA pages, talk about KCSE candidates begin written exams today amid tight security. That is what I have here. Mwalimu Morero will talk about that. The exercise concluding on November 21st as well will test more than 900,000 candidates, and Kenya National Examinations Council has assured the candidates logistical measures that are in place for smooth and credible process. That is what is here on the inner pages. And finally, on still on the Tanzania Pulse, AU Commission accused of uploading carnage. Rights groups and opposition estimate that as many as 1,000 people have so far been killed, and activists say that there is a scheme by the state to steal evidence and muzzle the truth. Tanzania hit by more protests, deaths and riots, and they have accused police police actually have struggled to contain escalating anti-government protests sweeping major cities in Tanzania, while protesters raided state installations and homes of perceived presidential loyalists. So that is what is here. It's actually the story that continues to the inner pages of the Standard newspaper. But let me come back, gentlemen, and talk about the question about Mheshimiwa, you've not gone through the front page of the Daily Nation. Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah. What is on the front page?
Oburu says it is DP, that is Deputy President, or nothing. And the landslide is there.
Yeah.
And they say Oburu has drawn a bold red line in Kenya's post-Raila Odinga politics, declaring that the party will not settle for anything less than the Deputy President seat in 2027.
Yeah.
For both President Ruto and the United Opposition, this proposition comes with some tough and consequential political arithmetic.
Go ahead.
The other is just devastation as landslide death toll climbs to 26.
That is in Gila Marakwet.
Yes.
Okay, so let me come back to you, Mheshimiwa. You are a life member of ODM, and I think ever since Mheshimiwa Honorable Odinga passed on, we've not been on this show. The last time we were here before that, and today we are meeting almost 3 weeks or so later. How did you receive that news? Let me start from there. I think it's fair.
Wow. I can't explain. You know, the last time I was here, you asked me the question about Raila's health, because there were speculations that time. And I think I told you that a day before that we had just spoken, and he was in very high spirits. Very high spirits. His voice that it really changed. You know, before he went, his voice was a bit hoarse.
Yeah.
And when we talked, the voice was very, very clear. as a sign that he was recuperating very well. And there were no signs that what happened would have happened. So I was in a great shock of what happened. And you know that he was my voter. Mm-hmm. I'm the only MP that he voted for in the last general election. And I remember when he voted for me, he made an elaborate statement in Luo, said, Jakonyanga Seluthoni. That means that he had voted for me that day. And to me, his votes could count for even over 30,000 votes. Yeah. Because he was not just an icon, he was not just a great politician, but he was one that people would listen and understand. So one, I lost a big friend, a great friend for many years, but also I lost a voter, patriotic voter, that ensured he woke up every time that voting was going to occur and voted. So that is the state, and we have not recovered. We are still grieving. Apart from the family members, the most affected people in this country are the Kibra people. Yeah. Because they have lived with him for many years. As an MP, the longest serving MP for the Langata Kibra constituency, for over 20 years. That is where he started his political career as a legislator. Others were just people who was concerned about the democratic space. But where he began his politics, real politics now, was the wider Langata constituency where Kibra was. And you know how Kibra people have lived with Raila. And I can tell you, the whole of this country, Raila, where he talked with the people, mostly apart from the family, are Kibra people. He could call anybody, a sweeper, a vendor, a tout. Every day he had to talk with the people of Kibra, including. Okay. So I think it was a very devastating moment for us, and still is, because we are still coming to terms of what he stood for. Because everybody else here cherished the ideals and ideologies and the political beliefs of his Right Honorable, the late Raila Amolo Odinga.
Let me get the voice of Peter. I had to give him that chance, Peter. He's a life member of ODM, and of course he's a voter, as he's correctly put it. And I think the last conversation we had just outside the studio, last time we were here, is that you had a conversation with him the previous day and all that when it happened. Since then, we've not talked until yesterday when I called him. Yeah. We've not talked. Now, let me come back to you, Peter. Now, all this is happening, and based on what you've seen of the front page of the Star newspaper and now the Daily Nation, it seems that politics has started to gain momentum. Go ahead.
Not really momentum.
Yeah, with Sifuna speaking and now the acting party leader now also speaking.
You see, let it go into record that when ODM was formed, I was one of the pioneer members, to the extent.
Oh, really?
To the extent.
Yes.
I was the returning officer for ODM elections in Kangundo constituency.
Okay.
And after the election 2007, myself and my family members, we also suffered as a result of being members of ODM. I remember one day, I'll come to this about ODM.
Go ahead.
Coming from home, when I could not, that time I didn't have money to fuel my car. I had to borrow, some fare. Then I was dropped around Haile Selassie Junction at Huru Park. Then I needed to pass through Huru Park. And because I was wearing the cargo cape that was associated with the late Raila Amolo, the security forces stopped me. And I had to produce my ID to identify myself. Upon identifying myself, the officer asked me, then why are you wearing this kufia? And you don't belong to those people. So ODM I'm trying to tell you that, and everybody that is listening to us, that ODM was not and is not a regional party. And all of us that were in ODM, we were in ODM because of Raila that time. So the ones who are left, they have to give us a reason why we should remain in the political party that is called ODM, because there is a way that we were treated, that we felt that we belong, and the party never belonged to a certain region. Now coming to your question, it is common, you know, effect if the big person is gone. You don't know when you have people around you who have personal interests, who have national interest, and who have party interest. You can see now some of the members, they are not speaking as the others. The others who are feeling that it's my time to tell people that was very close, this is what I was told by Baba, and this is not what was said. This will continue for some time until the Peter Oreros and others call to order the leadership of the party and tell them it's not time to talk about what position we are going to have in 2027. It's time to make sure the political party ODM is strong and focused so that it can retain its national outlook. Otherwise, if it's late like this, that people can speak the way they want, depending on where they are speaking from, and who has been called by who, and who has not been called by who, it will lose the agenda, the direction that the party leader ODM of ODM, one Raila Amolo Odinga, what he had envisioned. Because you find this is a party that, look at even the deputies, look at the deputy party leaders. One was from Coast, another one from Western, and another one from South Nyanza. So it tells you he had a vision of making this political party. And if it were possible to have 47 deputy party leaders, he would have spread them across the country. So, but these people who are now talking, you know, in a manner that they are not agreeing or respecting the interim authority, it may gradually grow to a situation where we are going to have different formations, different factions of ODM.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But Mheshimiwa, let me ask you this question straight. Is there a split in ODM? Are you speaking from different quarters? When Sifuna, based on what Sifuna has said and based on what Daktari Oburu has also said, has Oburu spoken the mind of ODM finally, based on what's on the front page of the Daily Nation?
Now, of course, ODM still is a very united political party. Of all these parties, where there is freedom of speech, basically, and where it has been built through over a period of time, is ODM. Normally, when you want to know the position of ODM, is a statement from the secretary, either after a NEC meeting or a central committee meeting. Just like last week, I think Sifuna read a statement where the NEC had met and the central committee, and he gave what had been discussed about the party. And those are now the kind of statement that will carry the aspirations of our political party. However, when Sifuna goes out and makes a statement, now that is his personal statement. As a politician, everybody is free to make a personal statement about the party and not the party position. So it is upon the Kenyans to digest and see really which one correlates with the party position that Sifuna read when there was either a NEC meeting or a central committee meeting. Oburu now is the party leader. Is just like Raila Amolo Odinga. And I think what we are saying is that as a political party, world over, political parties are used to acquire power.
Yes.
If you form a political party and you have no reason that you want to acquire power, then you have no business being in politics. Politics is about acquisition of power so that you implement your policies and ideologies that govern the tenets of either democracy or why your political party was formed. So essentially, as ODM member, we must have a vision. And what is our vision?
And the vision is what Dr. has said.
So he is saying that, one, ODM is formed to acquire power. And all the years you have fielded a presidential candidate. But now that we are also in a broad-based government, we had agreed on a 10-point agenda that should be looked into. And we assess whether the 10 points agenda have been fulfilled. So I understand his position because he's leading a political party that is supposed to acquire power. So he's saying that it is either we field a presidential candidate, and if we have to work with other political parties, he is putting his cards on the table. He's saying for us to work with you, because we have a large and a vast number of support within this country.
Yes.
And our ideology is known. We are the longest political party that is still existing in this region. So he's saying if it is not the presidential candidate, then we can only settle for deputy president. And that should be the position of our political party.
According to me, from what I can understand, Peter, is that before you take a break, they have already settled for something. From what I can see or from what I can hear is like ODM has already settled for something. That if you don't have a presidential candidate, then there is a card that you're floating for whoever will give you that position of a DP. That's what I can hear. Okay.
You know, it's Peter, I am Mwalimu.
We don't have uji, we have tea. I want to serve you tea.
That uji. So I was waiting for Peter to respond.
No, this is Mwalimu, I am Peter.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me serve the two Peters some tea. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Just getting an apology from the Deputy Governor of Mandera. He was to be here, but yeah, we all know how it happened. So he sent his apology. He's not going to make it. He's held up in a meeting somewhere in the city center with security officers somewhere. So let's accept his apology. But the show has to continue. It's doing very well. So let me come back with you, Peter Mutuku. So now, a question that I asked, does it mean that ODM has already made peace with everything around it, around the party? And so should the party members accept and move on?
Well, I'll go back and allow me to entertain a different approach and thought for Mwalimu.
Around, go ahead.
And say that when Sifuna speaks, he does not speak for himself. He speaks for the party because he's a secretary general. And after Mwalimu said I decided to go to this Star newspaper on page 12 and see what Sifuna said. And he repeats that being broad-based is not a political party. So they want to be allowed to campaign.
What does it say? If you can just pick that line, let's
check. It starts with Ruth.
Okay.
There is a, let me look for it. Speaking in Mombasa, Ruth Odinga said ODM will approach the polls as an independent party. I want you to know that Baba kept reminding me that the party must remain strong. Even in coming polls tomorrow, Sunday, we will be heading to Magarini for campaigns. We are going there as ODM, Ruth said. There is no party called broad-based. The same applies to Malava and other areas where we have by-elections. And it's like in that meeting, they were trying to show that even the joint, because they have mentioned it here, when the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya went to Kaspulka Bondo with his UDA brigade, and they were campaigning for the ODM candidate, they were saying that it was not very welcome in the political party. When such signals are sent, then it shows you that what we get out here is not what happens behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, there is no comfort, in the sense that whatever Sifuna speaks, he speaks and puts it, and he adds some strength by saying, when we were in Manzoni, Raila told us that in 2027 we are going to have a presidential candidate. And he keeps on saying, like, for example, as a party, if we decided to field our party leader, for example, Oburu or Abdul Swamad, Mombasa governor, or other party leaders, then people will go home. Even if you decide to have your secretary general on the ballot, we will win in the morning, Sifuna said. You see, when he says that in the presence of Oburu, he says that in presence of other political party leaders, and somewhere in a retreat, and that whatever he says, it finds space and place in the public, and it's written as it is written, then only a person who is not properly equipped would assume that is not the position of the party leader. That's not the position of the party. So, because you see, Oburu says this, Sifuna says this, Ruth says this, and other people say this. I think that confusion, even if we defend it here, is not healthy for ODM.
Okay, it's not healthy for ODM. But Mheshimiwa Peter, I think that is how politics is being played. And I'm so sure you are enjoying the confusion,
of course, quote. You know, when I listen to him, now that I'm in the political space, I'm just thinking he's missing the point, because that is now the real politics that people require.
Confuse them.
We must be able to speak in that manner.
Yeah.
And 2 years is a long time. I can tell you that we cannot say that in 2027 this is what is going to happen. In politics, even a day is long enough. I want to give you a narration. During the nomination of Baringo Senate, the election that is going on in Baringo, everybody, a week before that nomination, nobody would have thought that Moi Gideon would not have contested that seat.
Yeah.
I am not saying he was a weak candidate. He was among very popular candidates for that seat this time. But on that nomination day, he did not take his papers. After everybody else thought that he was going to be the incoming senator for Baringo. And that tells you that in politics, a day is long enough. Everything else can change. So when you hear our ODM members express themselves in public about the position of ODM, then we take them as such, because politics, everybody else, you are free to express yourself, and we are paid to talk.
Yeah.
That is where we earn our living. So I believe that the Secretary General can speak his mind. Ruth Odinga, who is also the women rep of Kisumu, can speak her mind, as well as Oburu, who is now the party leader. But I can tell you that 2 years is a long time. But what I can say, since we formed the ODM party, we have never failed to field a presidential candidate.
So what's in the DNA of ODM?
The DNA in terms of political maturity, or in terms of political development. But we are saying that what we are known of as a political party, that we are a party which has stabilized this country and which has created a democratic space in this country more than any other political party. And we are known that ODM is the most democratic movement that we have within our country.
Very good.
And therefore, we must, this DNA that you're talking about, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, it contains traits that can be passed from a generation to a generation. So we are talking about our political DNA.
Yes.
That is the policies that we govern our political party.
I mean, let me just ask you again, this to all of you. Now, the gentleman who should, if any, based on this newspaper, should be the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, Peter Mutuku.
What about him?
If the assertion by party leader Oburu Oginga is that the only thing that ODM, at least what they can settle for, is the deputy position's seat. Then the deputy president, Kithure Kindiki, must be a worried man.
Well, I respect Oburu. He's an elder, he's a statesman, and thank God that for this time and this season, in the wisdom or lack of it, of ODM top guns, decided that he's the interim party leader. And while respecting him, I also want to support his assertions, because saying that ODM is the minimum, the bare minimum that is going to settle for is DP. There is nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you, Victor, while you are hosting us, somebody somewhere is wishing that you are the host. He was a host. So you must up your game that whenever you face competition, whoever makes decision in this organization, you will always be an automatic pick to remain. So this is nothing, it's not nothing, it's democratic right for ODM either to say we are going to have either a presidential candidate, and should we not, then the minimum that we are going to settle, those people who are thinking of us joining hands with us, just as you plan and you think, just know the minimum that will make us join hands with you is the position of deputy president. So if there is somebody somewhere who feels uncomfortable with that statement, it is uncalled for, because the elections are going to be in 2027. And in between now and 2027, as my namesake has said, many things could change. And even the ones who decide to be deputy, they could be the leaders, and the ones who are leaders could be the deputies. So many things would change. And you know, back to ODM and the DNA of ODM, because I'm a founder member of ODM. ODM was founded on the principles of being rational. A party that is rational to the extent it could understand that a loss is a loss, whether fair or not fair. Bottom line is a loss. And now that we have lost election, whether fair or not, what next? And then it's the only party in this country that they have the capacity to think rationally, and started the famous handshakes. And from the famous handshakes, peace was restored. And of course, like now the recent one, you've seen people who had never thought of becoming CSs or growing to the highest position in politics of becoming a CS. Today they are CSs because ODM was rational. It is rational, and I hope the current leadership will maintain that trait of being rational.
Okay. I was listening to some program somewhere, and some gentleman said, name withheld, that the center is not going to hold for ODM until 2027. I'll come back to you, Peter.
The center for ODM, those are naysayers, and even when we hear people talk about president, to have a presidential candidate, a DP position, this is in 2027. That's how ODM is rational. And in respect of our fallen leader, great man, Raila Amolo Odinga, whose shoes or character many will not fit in this generation, we should, because it matters the last words that person says before he leaves this world. And the last word was broad-based to remain until 2027. So it cannot be otherwise. Disintegrations may happen thereafter, but not between now and 2027. And again, whoever was saying that may be not a typical African like me. As Africans, we respect the wishes of the people, while what they said while they are on this earth, we respect it. And the wishes were, it holds until 2027, thereafter we will think otherwise.
Great. Is there a scare of a case of separation or split within the Orange Democratic movement?
Today, I want to say that people did not know that Dr. Oburu is so magnanimous that he is almost trying to fit in the shoes of his brother. You have seen in the last 1 week how he has operated he has operated with a lot of patriotism. He has operated with a lot of wisdom. And some of his earliest statements is that he wants the ODM to hold together. He has gone out of his way to meet some of the people that the ODM thought were rebels. They were expressing their minds within the ODM political party. You saw Dr. Buru meet Babu Owino.
Yes.
He has also met Sifuna. He has met other party leaders. He is trying to make sure that the ODM holds together. And that is one of the qualities of a good leader. We are starting to see the kind of qualities that he has and his kind of leadership styles. And I believe that Oburu, just like his brother, has something to offer to Kenyans in this short period that he is acting as the party leader. And since he took over, the party is beginning to be rejuvenated. You have seen more people talk about the ODM as a political party. As they are campaigning down in Mombasa, you are seeing that we are getting the headlines as a political party. And that means that Oburu himself will be able to make sure that this party does not split until 2027. Thereafter, as a political party, I know he will pronounce, and we will pronounce the political party.
If we had a chance with him, he would not tell us the kind of a person he is. But what kind of a leader is Dr. Buru? Of course, they're so different from Honorable Raila Odinga, but what kind of a person is he? You've been with him for far too long.
Yeah, of course, I have known Dr. for some times, although I was very close with the former. Their traits are almost the same, but he shoots directly. He never hides his mind. He shoots straight. The former prime, you would not know really what was behind his thoughts.
His next move.
His next move will never be known until you see it coming on that day. He was a master planner behind the scenes. That was his greatest trait. Master planner behind the scenes, never rested at night. But you see, his brother shoots straight and speaks his mind and is straightforward. What he talks about is what he will implement. He is never 50-50 on something. When he doesn't like it, he will say, no, this one is not right. And when you cheat him, he will say, you cheated me. I don't like you. So he is somebody who talks straight, as far as I know. So what you see and what we hear him speak is what he believes in.
Okay. So, Peter, I mean, based on what we're seeing right now, and I like the conversation, the ODM party is celebrating 20 years of existence. The campaigns, the activations across the country is happening. But then the scale of the cracks within the party, he said that the party is going to stay intact until 2027 and all that. But then when you come to the whole bit of ODM, do you think, based on what people have been saying, that a lot of political careers are now going to be thrown out of the window? Some of these politicians are going to be dropping, some are going to be born because of this and that, because of Raila Odinga's name.
There's a gentleman, a friend of mine, who is desiring to contest in a certain region in South Nyanza. With a conversation with him last year, this is what he told me, that he has Raila's hand. And when he has Raila's hand, he was already assured of specifically 87% of the win. So his business was to look for 13%. Now that the 87% is not present, that tells you the 13%ers are at risk. The ones who are just concentrating on 13%, they are at risk. And there are so many. Because, let me tell you, and he will confess because he's a good.
Mheshimiwa Orero
Mheshimiwa Orero, you know, Mheshimiwa Orero is a Peter.
Right.
And Peter is a forthright and truthful.
I like that. Tell them.
Peter, forthright and truthful.
Yeah.
He will honestly tell you that he did very little in Kibra after he was, you know, after Raila settled for him. So whatever is going out there,
what did you say?
Yes, he's here. It will come to his turn to defend my statement, either to support or criticize.
Let him finish.
Let me finish. And let me repeat for the purposes so that you know it was not a mistake that I was making.
Go ahead.
That after, that is the year 2022, we had so many candidates who wanted the ticket of ODM in Kibra. After the party, and the party then, the party was Raila and Raila was the party, settled on one Mwalimu Peter Orero. He knew very well this seat is mine. So he did 13%. He got automatically 87%. So the 87% is that was coming from that doyen of politics. Now the ones who have never been, you know, when he got it, you know, this is what they say. Victor, this is what they say. It matters who takes you, it matters who takes you somewhere. But for you to remain in that position, it matters what you do. I think Peter Orero, after he won, for example, I'm using him because he's present here. After he won Kibra, he mastered the art of endearing himself to the electorate. So that when it comes to a time that is now is going to be him, is not going to be to wait until Baba comes and says something. So I want to tell you, when you hear people out there saying that political careers of many are going to suffer, it is true.
Okay.
Yeah, 87% vis-a-vis 13%.
You have your time to defend yourself.
Of course, I started by saying that I am the only MP that Raila Amolo Odinga voted for. And of course, I was not coming from nowhere. I have been an ardent supporter of democratic change in this country and a follower of the late Raila Amolo Odinga and even his father, Jaramogi Odinga. But I want to tell him that I was not the sitting MP. And you know that. So I had to come and get into politics and defeat the incumbent. It means I was coming from outside. So at least I had some followers before I was elected on ODM ticket to represent the ODM political party in bedroom of Baba. So it means, therefore, it is not the 30% he's talking about.
No, 13.
13% he's talking about. But what I can tell you that Raila has had a big say in Kibra politics. The moment you got the ODM party ticket, one of the safest place that you would be is the Kibra, because that is where he spent most of his time. He could call all the leaders in Kibra on phone and by name. So he would direct the political direction. He would give the political direction. But I can tell you just the way he's saying that Raila himself admired and wanted and respected leaders who were fulfilling his vision for the Kenyan people. And one of those things is that you must work for the people. And if you don't work for the people, he will not be your friend.
Yeah.
So when I assumed the office, one of my duties was to ensure that the Kibra people saw why Raila supported me to be the Kibra MP. So the work that I have done there, I'm sure he has been there many times. I am proud to say that today, when you visit Kibra at 7:30 p.m., it is like Dubai. Just the way you are here.
Yeah.
People are working. The traders are there. For 4 kilometers, we have the Rerek lighting. If you go to Kibra now, I can
That
say...
was 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yes.
I can proudly say that Kera has done tarmacked roads. In Kibra, you can come, you can go and check, and they are in public domain.
You know, he's the head of service
Yeah, he knows.
We met here. In fact,
give him a tour. Give him a tour.
No. In fact, he needs to tell you that I rescued him along Fort Jesus.
When the president
was coming, I was there from 5 a.m. trying to do the road, and he was very happy. But let me tell you, he's running away from when I got the ODM ticket. I rested because he's saying that when in Kibra, as long as you have ODM ticket, I want him to confirm here, in respect of the fallen soldier, that the fact that he got his ODM ticket, he was assured of 87%. Forget about there's nobody in this world who doesn't come from a certain background. But this one, I'll stay with it. Even him, my namesake here, Peter Orero Malimu, 87% was assured.
When I am very particular on his sentiments. When you get the ODM ticket,
yes.
But before you get it, you have to work for it. But when you get it, then you are assured. In the certain basis where the ODM is very, very strong.
Victor, before we take a break, I've been around for long. A founder member of ODM. When those days, it mattered little how much you do. It matters a lot when the right eye has caught
Thank you. As we wind up, your last word, because moving forward, and then I want you to mix this. We have 900,000 candidates starting the exams this morning. Mwalimu Peter Orero, time flies so fast. We've just done 1 hour already, just like that. Mwalimu Peter Orero, this is your area, and I know 900,000 students sitting the examination. Perhaps as a teacher who's been there, what's your word for them?
I would like him to be the last.
Okay,
the last.
Go ahead,
you know, he's my senior.
Words of wisdom.
Don't break protocols.
Words of wisdom. I get that.
Success to all the students sitting for the exams, and also success to ODM. Remain united in respect to our boss.
Yeah.
Remain united in Nairobi. Things are working. Lights everywhere. Good roads. No issues of drainage. Everything is working.
We'll talk about that in the next. You're talking about drainage and all that. I will invite you specifically.
No. I have to tell people that things are working they are working.
Go ahead.
If they were not working, I would not have been here earlier than 7 as you expected. There's no jump. Everything is flowing. Remain in the city that is working, city of peace, city of order, city of hope, and city of equal opportunity. God bless you.
God bless you. And I think that brings another topic. I will invite you so that you can give us some of the scorecard, some of the things that the governor and the leadership of the county is doing. Agreed?
Anytime.
Thank you, sir.
Even after this, you can tell me to remain around. Because I have it. It's just something that I'm going to research on.
The show is ending.
It's
You know, I was just looking at my phone, and somebody is telling me, please give me that uji of Uhuru. No, it's not right. This is black tea.
This is coffee.
These people are serious. Anyway, I want to wish all the candidates good luck. I know the primary or the grade 9, the JSS is also ending today. The Form 4 candidates, we want to wish them very well. You know those days, when I was Mwalimu, this is the most critical moment for all the kids. They have been there for 4 years. Now they are being tested. And I think also as education committee, we invited the CS for education just to give us how they are prepared for this exam. And most importantly, how they are prepared for the exams not to be leaked. So one of the things is that those who are invigilating these exams are teachers from the primary section. Those who are doing invigilation. And it's only the supervisors who are coming from the high school. And they are being changed every 1 week. You supervise here today, then after 1 week you move to the next station. So that there is no complacencies. There are no people who will collude to make sure that these exams do not leak. I want to appreciate those efforts. I want to tell all the Kenyans that we safeguard the interests of our people. Let these students do exam in a conducive environment. the principals and the head teachers ensure that these kids are well taken care of, because their future lie on this. But specifically now, I want to wish the candidates of Kibra constituency the best of luck in honor of the late Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. I want to wish them the very best. I know, even before he died, you know, normally their office give success cards to the candidates. And last week, we were forced to collect those success cards to distribute to the candidate schools, even after Raila died. And, you know, IDA also supports education fully and gave us the success cards. And to all the other candidates again, may God bless you. May Kenya remain peaceful. You have seen what our neighbors are going through. And that tells you that where Kenya is, compared to other regional countries, we are far in terms of democracy. They are starting just where we were in 1990. This is when now they are starting to feel what Kenyans are feeling. Thank you for inviting us in this studio.
Thank you. The two Peters, Peter squared. Allow me to say asante sana, gentlemen, for coming to the show. Of course, extending my apology. We get the apology. Yeah, handshake. You see how it is.
It is everywhere.
You see how it is. Handshake everywhere. Okay, Peter Mutuku Mutua.
Yes, got it right.
Thank you, sir, for coming. He's a governance and political analyst. Asante sana is head of service delivery in this great county of Nairobi. Of course, lawmaker, Kibra constituency. Asante sana, Mwalimu Peter Rero. All right, apology from Dr. Ali Maalim, Mohamud, Deputy Governor of Mandera. He'll be here tomorrow. He was held up this morning in some of the crucial meetings when it comes to security of the country. All right, that's why we take it up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Victor. Good morning.